Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Sammy here at Sammy J Stitches, and it is time for a new Flosstube week. Excuse me. And I have a ton to show you. I don't know where it all came from. I'm not sure how this week existed. It just kind of went by. So, yeah. Welcome to June. I'm super excited to start all the goals all over. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me turn my brakes up. So I didn't show you what I worked on last Sunday. But I also didn't put my whips in order, so we're just gonna have to kind of pull through them, except that one is missing. No, it's here. It's here. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right, so my daily 100 while I was off Sunday through Wednesday of last week is Mini Phantom of the Masquerade by Melissa Dawn, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And so we had one to finish off the row, and then these three to start the next row. So, and we are just diagonally rowing all the way down to the bottom of the project in this column. So we still got a ways to go, but it's so exciting. And I think this is technically the bottom of the page. Maybe this row that we're working on is the bottom of the page, and then this much is the next page. And that's one of the reasons I just went ahead and did the entire column. Or we may already be in that page, I'm not sure. But we are at like, I want to say 57% done. I put it in my app. Why am I going and covering up my Notions app? Let's see, Wednesday. What I try and do is when I put it into Notions on Wednesday, I try to put in, that was the wrong month. I try to put in the percentage. I did not do that this week, apparently. I thought I did. Why does it keep trying to take me to the wrong month? Yeah, I didn't, but it's 50 something %. So we have one more column over here, which is like a column and partially another column, kind of like these partial pages down here. But it's looking really good. And we will see it again, not next week, but the week after, because this week, I'm so confused. Hold on. Yeah, because this week is Alice. This week is Alice, so you'll see her next week, and then we'll start on Phantom. All right. So then the other thing I worked on Sunday, and I simply picked it because we hadn't stitched on it in quite a while, right? I'm pretty sure that's the only reason I worked on this on Sunday. And that is Angel of the New Dawn from Mirabilia. And we got quite a bit done up in this wing. It's kind of where my focus was. So it's looking really good. It is on a 32 count Joblin and Icicle from Under the Sea Fabrics. And I want to say I put in 500 or 600 stitches. Like, it was significant progress. And I was kind of bouncing around between colors, I think. Or maybe, I think I just worked my way up here and then just started trying to work back down. Because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get to the top with where my Q-snap was at, and it turned out I could. And then I just worked my way down. So she's looking really good, but she's got a long way to go. She is a big girl. She is quite a bit of stitching. Okay. So I don't know when we'll see her again, but I'm sure it'll be sooner rather than later, because I don't believe she's hit her goal yet. If I had my other device here, which I don't, I could have up the goals, but I don't want to have to keep flipping back and forth. All right, so that was Sunday. On Monday, I did my daily 100 on Phantom, and then I had one of my live streams. So Monday, which is now changed to Sunday, we'll talk about that later. Monday is the kit and then stitch. So y'all voted on my poll for me to kit up. Was last week amethyst? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure. So we kit up amethyst from Carolyn Manning live on stream, and in doing so and communicating with everybody that was in chat, we decided most of the time when I kit something, it's literally just to go in the stash still, excuse me, but with all the stuff to it. So if I ever decide to start it, I can just pull it. And it also helps dwindle down my stash of fabrics that have outgrown their cubby hole. And so by putting a few here and there with a project, then we help reduce that. So we were kitting it up, and most of the time I have no plans for when they're going to get started. If they get started, you know, it's kind of just to keep my patterns relevant, because you know, patterns can get lost pretty easily. And so but as we're talking and as I'm kitting it up and as I'm falling in love with this project, we decide it needs to be started. And so we decided on my birthday that we're going to have a start, a Carolyn Manning start. So I already have several people who are joining me. If you like Carolyn Manning, if you want to try her for the first time, anything like that, we're going to be starting it on August 3rd. And I would love for anybody to join me. I don't have a hashtag or anything, but I'm going to try and go live that day. I don't know whether it will be live streaming like I have been doing, or if it's going to be a Zoom live where you have the option to be in the Zoom and chatting with us, or live chatting via the chat. We have not done one of those in a really long time, and I think it'd be neat to kind of do that again. In fact, when I first started Zooming, but back then it was Google Meets, I did it for my birthday. And so what a circle that would make, right? Especially since I think it's been 5 years, 5 or 6 years. So anyway, down that rabbit hole, we kitted up amethyst, and once we're done kitting up, then I pull out mystery and just put a few stitches in her to finish up the live stream. Now, to be completely transparent, I had a live last night on Sunday night. I know I didn't get to y'all Saturday or Sunday morning because I was lazy. So she's already got this week's stitches in her. I'm gonna go ahead and show her to you, and you're probably gonna see those same stitches next week, because I would like to keep my weeks consistent, even though I mess it up every once in a while. So here is Mystery Kitty from Kitty and Me Designs. And so outside of some of this type of Krynic being down here that I haven't done, we're done with all parts on this half of the face, and well, except for back stitching. And we've started over into parts 3 and 4. Kind of, we'll be working on it simultaneously on this side. So she is looking so good, and I'm ready to get her finished up now. So last week I got 100 stitches into her, and I was like, okay, we got 100 stitches in, we got 159, I'm sorry, stitches in. Let's go ahead and end the stream. And then I believe it was 149 last night. So that's about what I average between, by the time we get done kitting, and then I have to relegate my time because I have to be in bed by a certain time. And last night we went till a little after 10 o'clock. So because my stream started, my kit and stitch stream starts at 8 p.m. Was on Mondays, it's now on Sundays. So there's that. And this is on a 32 count Lugana in My Sunshine from Be Stitch Me Fabrics. So there she is, and we'll see. Well, You'll see her again next week, but I've already worked on her for the week. So let me put her threads back in here. And my awesome Kreinik holder thing. Kreinik Cozy, I think we're gonna call it. I need to check with Vic and see if we've got the other ones made. Okay, so that was all I got done that day because I don't know what happened last Monday. Oh, it was Memorial Day. So the plan was get up, do my daily 100 stitches, stitch a little bit more, honestly, go over to my mother-in-law's and have dinner. Well, my daughter was planning a trip out of town with her cousins, and so I was taking her over to my in-laws to meet up with my brother-in-law so that he could grab her and take her out of town. And then his work didn't quite work out that way, so then I had to drive her to my brother and sister-in-law's actual house, which is 2 hours away, and then drive the 2 hours back. And then we had Memorial Day dinner, and then we ended that just in time for me to come home and set up for stream. So not a lot of stitching that day, just my daily 100 and what I got done on live. So then Tuesday is also a live day. Now that one's staying consistently the same. On Tuesdays around 1 o'clock, I go live again, but this one is simply a stitch and chat. And I put up a poll, which I was supposed to do last night, but I will do today, for what we stitch on during the Tuesday stream. So the viewers get to pick. And for this past week, they picked Dark Queen of the Sea. So when we were on stream on Monday night, I said, is there anything you'd want to see in the poll? And one person said Garden Prelude and one person said Pretty Ladies. So I put up like 3 different Pretty Ladies, and Dark Queen of the Sea won the votes. So I worked all in this seaweed down here because we had finished the fish last time. No, I'm lying. We finished the fish on stream. So, I mean, literally, I had part of the fish done. We finished up the fish on stream. And that's kind of when I called it. I was like, okay, the fish is done. Stream is done. We're good. And then I already had it out and was working on it. So when I went back in the house, I continued to work on it and worked in all the seaweed. So we are just moseying right along on her. So overall, I put in 4, 5, 6, 700 stitches in her that day. 270 on stream, and then the rest, once I was in the house, just hanging out. So she was my project for the entire day, and of course, then I caught up on daily 100 after that. So there is. Oh, and she is on 32 count Jovelin and Bewitched from Under the Sea Fabrics. Dark Queen of the Sea. This was the mystery stitch along from Autumn Lane Stitchery and Under the Sea Fabrics. You can go to the Etsy and buy her completed now. They do not have Dark Queen of the Sea up last time I checked. Or Dark Queen of the Earth. They have Queen of the Sea, don't have Queen of the Earth. Alright. So, there is that one. And I feel like she's going to come out again soon, but I'm not quite positive. So let's just set her down and we'll see. We'll go through. We kind of discussed plans last week, but I have a better, I have it all planned out now. All right, so that was Tuesday. Wednesday was the 29th of the month. And so this year was leap year. On February 29th, I started 4 projects with the intention that if any of the 4 projects got completed throughout the year, that their successor would then be able to be started on the 29th of that month. And what I mean by successor is they're all a series of some sort, or the same designer, as some case may be. Anyway, so I had 2 finishes this month. I finished Unicorn, Quirky Quaker from Darling and Whimsy, and I finished Year of Celebrations March. So that meant I could start their successors on the 29th of May. It's May. So I had a little bit of a start-a-thon on the 29th, which really meant I didn't get much of anything done, if we're being completely honest. So I got my daily 100 on Phantom, and then I started, this is Loch Ness from Darling and Whimsy. It's a Quirky Quaker that comes in a set of 3, and it comes with Loch Ness, Unicorn, which I just finished, and Bigfoot or Yeti. Well, it's kind of both. So she gives you the color, or are those the same thing and it's the Abominable Snowman? I don't know. Anyways, it's got all 3 of them there. I've already finished Unicorn, and so I pulled out Nessie. I do not know what this floss is. It was sent to me from a friend, but I am in love with it. Like, it didn't come with a card or anything, but it's so, look how pretty it's stitching up. So gorgeous. So, and I figured that's what these are really good for, is using up some of these threads that I don't know what I would use in anything else, but I love this one. It is so nice. So, Loch Ness from Quirky Quaker. Loch Ness Quirky Quaker from Darling and Whimsy. It is on a, I believe 28? Yeah, 28 count even weave in Panther cap from Fortnite Fabrics. This was gifted to me from Lynn, I believe. And so I've been doing all my little Quirky Quakers on it. So we could show you. We have the hedgehog, which this one was given to me, the pattern was given to me from Jen. And then bat, and the seahorse, and the puffin, and the unicorn, and now Nessie. And I think I could fit 3 more, maybe 4 more. No, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3. I think 6 more. The way that it's folded, but we'll see. We'll see. And I love this little nerd. It was absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. All right. So that was one of my 2 starts on the 29th. And my plans for these right now are to become my daily 100 at work. I currently have one on the go, which we'll talk about in a minute. But then these super small ones will rotate out, because a couple days at work and it's done. And then I can start a new one on the 29th, and then I'm progressing through, because I have a lot of them. Not all of them yet, but I'm working on it. So the next thing I started was April's Year of Celebrations from Hands On Design. And let me see. I think I might have a cover photo. It might be on my other phone. Looks like it's on my other phone. Okay. So I don't have a cover photo, but here is my start. So it's a little umbrella. And basically I put 100 stitches in both of these to consider them starts. And then we'll work on them as they come up. So this is on a 32 count Lugana in Brash from Picture This Plus. And this is April from Hands On Design. It was a chart that had 12 months, and I'm just slowly working my way through them. I've finished January, February, March. Here's April. So there is that one. And we'll see if we can get them both done during June and be able to start new ones. Maybe not, but we can attempt it. Okay, so pull my notions back up. So that was the 29th, and I had to go to bed early because I had to work the next day. On the 30th, my daily 100 right now while I'm at work, and this is the one I said we'll talk about in a minute, is Love Stitching from Mill Hill. Oh, you can't even see the cover photo because I put all the threads in the way. But, here's what it looks like. And I've had this in my kit or in my stash for a very, very, very long time. Mill Hills and I have not always seen eye to eye. And this one's not really any different. But breaking it down like I am, I'm thinking I'm going to stitch on some more. So anyway, this was one of my Whip Go calls for May. And this was the number 13 that some people have as free space, but I had as a friend of mine who picked this one, and I lost it for a very long time. And I kept, the last couple of videos, if you've seen them, I kept saying, I don't know where I put it, so I haven't been able to stitch on it. And turns out it was in my bag, my work bag, with all of my projects that I work on at work. So it was just so small because I only had it in this instead of putting it in a project bag. And so I lost it for a while. Anyway, I found it, and by the time I found it, month's almost over. And rather than try and get the full 500 stitches in all at once, I said, let's just make this my daily 100 work project. So I worked on it this Thursday, Friday, Saturday of this week. So it's already gotten 3 of the 500 stitches before we even hit June. And I can catch up on Whip Go or get ahead on Whip Go. It doesn't matter. So I've been working on this, and it's going to continue to stay my daily 100 project even after the 500 stitches is in, until it's finished, because it's so small. And then we'll move on to one of the other smalls. And this is another one of the 4 that I started on leap year. So once I finish it, I could pull another Mill Hill out of stash and get started. And that's why I said not all Mill Hills are a series, but like, anyway, I can start another Mill Hill. So there's that. Oh, and the other thing was, when I pulled this out, I realized all of this color stitching was in before I pulled it out. This last time. Any color is what has been added this week. This is the wrong color, and I'm out of it, and I still have some more stitching to do in it. So I'm gonna have to color match it to a DMC to finish it up, because I'm not pulling all that out. Especially because it wouldn't matter wherever it's supposed to go, I wouldn't have the thread for. So I'm going to color match it, finish it up, and then make the scissors what the heart was supposed to be. So I'm a pain, but that's part of the thing that I don't really like about Mill Hill kits, is all the thread comes up like that, and then you have to figure out what color's what. And I was apparently not in a very well lit room, and I swapped colors. So it's all good. So we'll see this again next week, because I'll work on it the 3 days at work this week. So I need to set that there. All right, so I put my daily 100 into that, and then I worked on, okay, so here's the other thing. After I finished my video last week, I went a little gung-ho, and I planned out my whippagories, of course, my focus pieces that I work on every month, my sal that I work on every month, and I pulled the Whip Go calls, and I put all of those into 2 bags that I have that I take to work. Am I going to be able to stitch on all that at work? No, but I'd rather have choices with me, and then I can just take those bags in the house to work on, right? All good. All good. I get to work on Thursday, and I realize that I only brought with me June stuff. It's May 30th. I still have 2 more days left of June. And of course, in realizing that, I didn't go home that night and pull something to finish up June. No. Okay, so the last 2 days of May, I worked on June stuff. I got a little ahead of myself, but it's okay. So the first one I pulled, because I figured it'd be fairly easy, or like, it doesn't really matter if I get a little bit ahead on it, especially just 2 days, was my stitch along. So this is the piece that I have split into 12 bite-sized pieces to make sure I finish it by the end of the year. And so this month, all we had to do was stitch the word laugh. And that was about 400 stitches. Just over 400 stitches. Well, I didn't quite hit 400 here, so I added some to the border. It's fine. That's the only way the border's getting done anyway, is to get me to even numbers. So I knocked out laugh on Thursday. And then I was feeling very easily distracted. And I had about an hour and a half left of work by the time this work was busy. So that was the first thing. And then by the time I got this done, I had about an hour and a half left of work. And I was like, I could pull something else out, but I'm not really feeling it. And I'd just be getting something started and not being able to finish it. So let's just call it a day. So the 100 on the daily, on Love Stitching for the daily 100, and then 400 on this. But I finished the June section. So we're keeping right on track with that stitch along. And we will see it again in July. In July, we've got some background stuff. Like there's the shape behind the L, and then there's some other little doodads that we'll be stitching up. All right, so that one can go there. Next, we worked on Love Stitching again, and then I pulled out another one of my focus pieces, because WIPGO and categories are month specific. You're supposed to work on them in that month. Even though they're released they're released 6 to 10 days early. The idea is so that you're prepped for the next month. It's not so that you can start them early. So I stayed away from those, did the SAL, and then went to my focus pieces. And so I already finished the focus on this for this month, plus some, because I was like, I don't want to pull something else out. And so I just gave this one more time than I normally would have. And that's okay, because I'd like to finish this one this year. This is the Haunted Mansion cell from the Tiny Modernist. It was a mystery stitch along like 2018 or 2019. 2019. And so all my focus pieces are from 2019, because I'm trying to get some of that older stuff out as we're bringing newer stuff in. So I had to finish a little bit on this pumpkin and a little bit in the grass, and then I moved the Q snap because it was going all along the bottom, and had it come up the side so that we can work up. I'll need to move it again, but it's okay. So we added in all of this tree and some of this iron rod fence there, wrought iron. There we go. So I ended up putting in 400 stitches into it, and its monthly goal is 200 stitches, because I figured that wouldn't finish it, but it would get me close enough that I could finish it in December. An extra 200 stitches only made that much more feasible. I'm sorry, 500 stitches I put into it. So because we still have the rest of this tree, and then all of this side over here. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna get this done this year. Probably for finish that stitch December, because even with the 200s, I don't think I would finish it before December, unless I keep doing things like having 500 like this month. But I typically don't let myself do that. But out of any of my focus projects, this one, the ones that require a certain amount of stitching, are the ones that I can kind of go over on, because I'm not going to mess up the next month's plans, like the one that's separated out. Okay. Back in there. I think that's everything. And that was my Friday, which was only the 31st. Saturday, June 1st, I didn't even put in my app yet. Go me. But I pulled up this. So before we get into that, we're going to go into plans for just a minute because I'm running into the plans and we haven't discussed them. So here we go. We know that every month I pick 5 categories that I then pick a whip to fill, and my goal on them is 500 stitches on each project. Now, that being said, when I set up this challenge for myself and some of my friends, you pick your own stitch goal. It doesn't have to be per project. It could be for the overall of all 5 projects. But that's how I choose to work it. So, I have my 5, we call them whipagories when we tag them on Instagram, or you call them categories. We just play on words because they're whips that are fitting into categories, so whipagories. We got the 5 focus pieces. They are 5 projects from 2019 that I picked, that I give each of them a certain goal that I try and hit each month. And we'll go through those goals as we go through them. My stitch along, that piece that was split into 12 different pieces, and 3 whip goes because I did not finish one from last month, and so I have 3 instead of 2. All right, so category 1 was holiday. So for this one, I had a few different options. I had celebrate Christmas, celebrate Halloween, trick or treat, gift of giving, a few. Celebrate Christmas is really close to a finish. So originally I had picked it as what I was going to focus on, because I'm like, we'll get it that much closer, and then come December, we'll finish it. Well, wrench got thrown into the works, as I'll get to, so I went with celebrate Halloween instead. Category 2 is full coverage. This one, I don't include the 2 heids that I'm working on for a daily 100 while I'm home. So my 2 choices were Aristocats and Epic Pokemon. I then went and looked at which one had been stitched on less recently, and it was Epic Pokemon. So that's the one I pulled out. Category 3 is sampler. I feel like I had a few when I looked up my definition of sampler, and I don't know how I came up with this when I came up with the category list, but anyway, I had a few that fit, but I decided to go with Moonlight Sampler from the Blue Flower. 1, because I just love working on it. 2, it felt the most sampler-ish by having the alphabet on it. So there's that. I don't really have samplers where they're like different specialty stitches and things like that. I don't have anything like that. So, category 4 is new to you. So this one, and I don't think I've ever done this actually, but I'm gonna have a new start for this one. Do I have things that can fit this category? Absolutely, but I'm having a new start tonight actually. And I want to stitch on it so badly that I'm like, let me go ahead and make it a category so that I can, if I don't get to 500 stitches on it tonight when I start it, I will have another reason to pull it back out and work on it again at some point this month. So I am starting Star Dragon from Owl Force Embroidery with some of my friends. Several of us are starting Star Dragon. Some are just starting Owl Force Embroideries. It is just so gorgeous, and I cannot wait to start it tonight. I'm so excited. So you will get to see that next week. Category 5 is specialty floss, and for this one I had picked one of my Miras that we hadn't seen a whole lot of, and that's Garden Prelude. But again, wrench in the works, and we had to switch it up, so I picked the Fox from Cottage Garden Samplings because it does have that one, I think it's gassed in there. Yep, gassed. So those are my 5 categories. My 5 focus pieces are Fairy Tale Lands 2. I always put in 1 motif. Now sometimes what's considered 1 motif may be just more or less, but I mean more, not typically less. So 1 motif each month, and when I broke that down at the end of last year, doing one motif a month, we'll finish it in December. And then next year we'll pull out Fairy Tale Lands 1, and I've got a way long way to go on it. But it's going to continue to be a one motif thing so that I don't get overwhelmed with the project, which is what happened to me, and I almost UFO'd them before coming up with the one motif a month thing. So Fairy Tale Lands 2, World Postage Stamp gets 500 stitches each month. This is one of those ones where if it got a little bit more, no big deal, but for the most part, I stick to the 500 stitches. I'm like, okay, it's done. I can move on, because it's a big project that I am not even halfway done yet. It also, being a Soda Stitch, they change colors a lot. And so sometimes I tend to get a little, okay, I'm over this and I want to move on. So at 500 stitches, I can move on. Mini Alice in a Dolly Dream. Now, this one's in my goals because she is one of my older whips. But I don't like take time out and just stitch 600 stitches on her. Which is my goal for the month. Daily 100 gets her 600 or more stitches a month. And I just let it go. Like whatever the daily 100 count is, as long as it's over 600, I just do it. There was one month I was going to be at 400, so I did push myself to get an extra 100 in one night, but typically I just let the daily 100 do its thing. Haunted Mansion, you saw, the monthly goal is 200 stitches. I did 500 this month. Spangled, I have divided into 12 sections. That did not like 12 sections to complete the project. I took the chart and I counted down 20, two 10 by 10 blocks, and then I went over the entire page. And I'm doing one of those blocks a month, and it'll get me like all of the first column of pages done and starting into the second column, and so it's an ongoing thing. And then if I work on Spangled when I'm not working on, once I finish that block, I go to the other border and work on it for a little bit. It's a lot of thought, but it works out for me. So those are my 5 focus projects. Next is my stitch along. You saw, divided into 12 parts. I already finished June's. Whip Go. Number 2 was my friend Cheryl, and she picked Celebrate Christmas, which is the wrench in holiday, and why I moved Celebrate, because I try not to double dip. I have the time to do multiple goals like that. I want to touch on more projects. So when she pulled it over to Whip Go, I just went and replaced her in the holiday category. The one from last month, Love Stitching, still needs 200 more stitches, so it is on this list. And then lastly, block number 25 was my friend Alma from Alma's Little Stitching, here on Flosstube. If you want to go and check her out, she does a lot of full coverage stuff. She picked Garden Prelude, and so that's what pulled that one out of the specialty floss. So that, and I think her intention was, hey, I'm picking something that you can double dip, and that was great, and I appreciated that. But again, I can stitch on more things if I don't double dip. So, but I know that if I really needed to, I could. So there's that. All right, so those are my plans for the month. And with that, I got started on June 1st with category number 5, specialty floss, the Fox. So here is the Fox from Cottage Garden Samplings. Snap. It is on a beautiful 32 count Jobelin and Spellbound. I love the gray with the snow, and it just really makes me think of winter. I do have enough over here that if another one to maybe even 2 of these, I could stitch more on it, on this color if I wanted to. I haven't decided what I'm doing for the other ones yet, or how many of them I'm doing, but anyways, Fox. So like, I can be a little odd sometimes, and I come up with the most random way to work a project. And you notice there's kind of like, this isn't done, we've come down here, look at what this tail is doing. Like, so the reason for that is, here is my floss card for the Fox. What I will do is, so when I first started stitching yesterday, I pulled a strand of 414 and I came and I finished up this area. Now that finished up all the 414 for the project, so there's that. But I stitched that strand. Next, next I went to this color and I pulled one strand and we worked in this tree up here. No, sorry, this tree over here. As you can see, I didn't keep going until it was finished. I did the strand and then I came down here and I picked this color and I did a strand in the tail. And then I went to this color and we filled in here some. I went to this color and we came up the bottom here. This color, we finished up this tree and then we started on this tree. Or this was already started. Put some more in it. 310, you could tell I ran out, but I did, what did I do? Oh, this edge along the tail here. It was a small piece. It was a small strand and I ran out. I gotta get more. And then this burnt orange, which is actually over here, and I filled in like that. So I did a lot of here, there, and everywhere. And I went through this floss card like at least 3 times. So it was just a fun, different way to work on it. It's weird, I know, but oh, I was still working on the black. It's back there. So anyway, I want to say I did more than 500 stitches too, because once I hit the 500 for the whip go and my day at work wasn't over, I just kept going. I haven't put it in my Notions app, so I have to go pull it up on my Counter app that hasn't updated. So anyways, I did more than 500. I think I did 700 stitches on this for sure. So that was everything I stitched on last week. It was a lot. It was a lot, and it's exciting. And it makes me feel like I'm getting more back in my rhythm, because between getting laid off and everything since then, I just hadn't really felt the rhythm, you know? I don't feel like I've made this much progress in quite a bit of time. So this one will go up until another time. So, and the other thing I've thought about doing, because I was on my live and I was chatting with chat about categories, and Holly was telling me that she sometimes she'll pull 3 or 4 whips that fit the category and just put a little bit into each one. And so what I'm thinking is, once I've completed all my goals, you know how I'm a little lost at the end of the month, I will then go through and try and fill up the categories again and work through them with different whips the second time. So we'll see. That's just a thought that maybe I'll follow through with. Okay, so we went through whips and we went through plans. I didn't have any finishes. My new start is tonight, so y'all will see that next week. The lives are on Sunday at 8 p.m. and Tuesday at 1 p.m. on either YouTube or twitch.tv if you're interested in checking it out over there. It's a little bit different. I really enjoy it because there's some interactive things that you can be doing. I don't completely have them set up yet, but I'm supposed to be getting some help with that pretty soon, maybe. And so it's just a fun place to hang out if you like live. And if you visited a couple of my lives and you like it and you want more like it, you should check out Twitch, because there's almost always somebody streaming on there. Now, they may not necessarily be cross-stitching, but they're crafting of some sort. Crochet, knitting, beadwork, yarn spinning. If any of that holds any interest for you, check them out, and know that it's also live. So if you talk to them, they're going to talk back, and it makes it more interesting for me. The conversation changes. As much as I love Flosstube, you're just listening to me talk to you, and you could be talking back to me and I can't hear you. So it's just an interesting experience. So if that's something you're interested in, please feel free to check it out. I think that's it. I'm thinking my next No, it might be this one just because it's really cute. I got these for the shop, but I may just have to buy one off myself. Also, I try not to talk about my shop a whole lot, but I do have an online needlework store. I run a little bit differently than other people in that I do have some stock, but mostly I go based on wish lists. So if you tell me you want something, then the next time I order, I'll order one's reserved for you. You're not required to purchase it, but you have that option. I also, people send me lists of things they want, and I just send them a little bit each month, or they'll send me a list of DMC and Mill Hill beads and things like that, and I kit something up for them. It's different, and I run it off a Facebook page called Tiny Hummingbird Stitchery, but I also have a website for all that back stock. So if I order something because you requested it, I'm ordering a few of them, and then the rest goes on the website. So that is tinyhummingbirdstitchery.myshopify.com, and it is linked below. So just thought I'd advertise myself a little bit because that's difficult for me to do. All right. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you saw something you enjoy and keeps you coming back for more. If you're a returning friend and subscriber, thank you so much for coming back week after week. I truly appreciate you. Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, commenting, all the ways that you show you love me, and I will see y'all next week. June. No. So the oh my God.